viewers, it's the 10th day of Vlog Every Day in April. I'm doing another vlog from my car in the middle of the day in between all the other stuff that I do. Today was gonna be another walk around the hill with Grandma day, but she didn't want to go outside because it's too chilly because it is windy. It is legitimately windy. When I left work today, I had to really work against the door so that the wind didn't slam it shut. And then it was whipping everywhere, and I have my long green coat, almost like a trench length, not quite, but below the knee length, and it was whipping around everywhere. So it was a little chilly, but instead of just walking around the hill by myself while Grandma was inside, I was specifically going over there to keep her company because she was kind of lonely today. She accidentally called my mom, who is across the country. She lives across the country now, and Grandma forgets her number sometimes, so she doesn't call all the time. But evidently she remembered it, but didn't know that that's who she was calling, so she ended up calling my mom by accident. So they talked for a while, and Mom texted me and said, "Your grandma's lonely, go and hang out with her." And Grandma had actually called me twice while I was at work to try and invite me to dinner again. I feel bad because she's been wanting to go to dinner like all week and I can't go. And normally I would be able to go. And I tried to take her to dinner last Friday night, but something came up and we couldn't go out and we didn't really feel like it anyway. But tonight is Friday, so normally I don't have rehearsal, but the director and the lighting designer and I are getting together to write the light cues for the show. So we're doing that tonight so that it doesn't take that much time on Tech Sunday, so that when Sunday comes around, we can just run through it and test everything, tweak it a little bit, but at least the cues will be written ahead of time right now. So, a couple things before I head in there. I have a few minutes before they're expecting me. Yesterday in my vlog, I mentioned that I was eating sweet potatoes with maple syrup, and James, who used to be a YouTuber, but doesn't make a lot of videos now, but is a personal friend of mine, and used to work with me on Pagan Perspective, texted me, and he was like, "Sweet potatoes and maple syrup, that's gross, that's like ketchup on a bagel." And I was like, what are you talking about? That makes perfect sense because sweet potatoes come canned in syrup. So I just had, these were sweet potatoes that they had actually peeled and cooked and they were plain, so I just added syrup to them. Like, it's not weird, I'm used to the flavor. And I said that, my family, I grew up eating meat and everything like that. Of course, I'm vegetarian now and I try to eat vegan as much as possible. Chocolate being my main exception. I'm trying to get used to more and more dark chocolate, but I don't go out of my way to find completely vegan chocolate, but I do end up with it a lot of the time, which is great. But anyway, but I grew up eating meat, so I grew up with these certain combinations that my family would eat, and I told these to James, and he said that some of them are normal, but he still doesn't think that syrup with sweet potatoes is normal. So tell me some food combinations that you grew up eating or that you really like that other people think are weird. So here's some of mine. We would always eat steak with ranch dressing and pork chops with applesauce. That's the one that James said was normal. And my family used to own a bar/restaurant/party center. I know. And my mom was the karaoke hostess, and she used to bartend, and actually numerous people in my family used to bartend, and especially when they owned this bar. But anyway, they had chicken tenders there, so I grew up eating these chicken tenders, and they were like my favorite, and if I would go anywhere else and eat chicken tenders anywhere else and they were different, I didn't like them. But anyway, so I would eat them with ketchup, because I didn't like barbecue sauce when I was a kid, so I would dip my chicken tenders in ketchup, and not at the same time, but also honey. And then my brother and I got into the habit of also dipping our French fries in the honey, which turns out to be really good. So if you've never tried it, do. My mom, despite all of these crazy combinations that we grew up with in our family, my mom thought it was insane when we went to Wendy's and I dipped my French fries in a Frosty, which is like a Wendy's tradition. She thought that was weird. I was like, get with it. That's not weird. So what are some crazy food combinations that you and your family members eat? I'm gonna head inside and maybe I'll add on to this vlog a little bit later tonight.
This should basically be trouble, that lighting, with whatever adjustment you feel should be made to make it look indoors.
Okay. Do you still want the extensions for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Any of these full stage things, we got 45 people.
Yep. I always check.
Yep. Good to check.
That's the wrong effect. That's the effect I want.
All right.
Yay, books.
Sorry, we did How to Succeed in Business at Riverside, and I did the set and everything. And then, funny enough, somebody sent me a picture from Rabbit Run and said, "Hey, this looks a lot like your set."
Right?
I was less than thrilled.
That's the kind of thing that I am just...
Yeah, but that could have been someone coming to see it, too.
Right.
That's fine. just
No, I get it.
call and say, hey, we like your design. Do you want to borrow the concept? Because I do that. Like, if there's something or
Well,
I see
right.
it online or something,
Right.
I always call that person and say, do you mind if?
And give credit to, or like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah. As the dress balloons. Okay, going home now. That was us having a little conversation about theater laws and sharing pictures of things and stuff like that in order to promote shows. Now I'm gonna head home and get something to eat. Yeah, so I was telling people that I was trying to get a little bit of backstage painting vlogging so that I could show you guys something related to the production that I'm doing, since I don't want to show the actual show. And the girl I was talking to, who is the producer of this show, and she does a lot for the theater. She teaches workshops, directs, acts, produces, basically whatever, other than designing, I guess. And she said, well, we really do have to start sharing a little bit more, like on Facebook and things like that, like getting people pumped and getting people in those seats and buying tickets and supporting, because there's a lot that needs done at this theater, a lot of upgrades that we could do to make things better and also easier that require a lot of money. Like, I was talking to the lighting designer, because that's what we were doing tonight, was setting the lights, and he was telling me about how the new board that we got was actually relatively inexpensive and enables him to do a lot with it because it has an app associated with it. He can hook it up to his phone. There are USB ports, so he can basically program everything from home and then bring it in. And he was telling me about how if we do the full system, he would be able to entirely program things at home without having to ever come in the theater. He could just design a whole show, bring it in on the week of tech, and run it, and then see how it looks on stage. And that would save a lot of having to come into the theater and sit for hours and hours and hours at a time just working and setting lights, because all of that would be done through the system, which can be done remotely, or, at home, and then you bring the program in, which his wife would really appreciate, because he used to be working 60 hours a week just sitting in a theater, working on the lights, getting paid only a small stipend for it. And that might be a little bit more worth it if you can do it while you're at home spending time with your family and able to get other things done, but it's not so much worth it if you have to put in all this time going in. So there's a lot of things that could make our theater experience better, and they all take money. So she was talking about that, but then I was saying that, I try to be very private as I can about where I am and what I do, so I don't tell you a lot of details purposely for my own privacy. But as far as things like Facebook and stuff like that, I agree with her that if we have the permission of the designers, of course, and a lot of that, she reminded me, does get signed off. People have to sign off on photo releases and things like that, so especially pictures are usually okay. So I did a little bit of recording of what we were doing up in the booth tonight, since that really involved no design showing whatsoever, and then a little bit of the lights, and the lighting designer did tell me he doesn't care. But he also told me a story about how one time when he was the set designer for something, he designed a set for a show, and then a little while later, a friend of his went to see a show somewhere else nearby at another theater, and basically called him up and said, hey, their set looks an awful lot like your set, which is where the problem comes in. But really, it doesn't have to be shared online or pictures shared at all for that to happen. It could be someone who came to the show and saw it and then takes that design and copies it. So of course, people can do it either way, but that's just what we try to respect. And, he was saying, I don't care if people really like my design and want to do something similar, but they should just call me up and say, hey, do you mind if or can I use this idea, whatever. And that's totally what I believe too. And that even applies to what I do here. I can think of one thing. Sometimes I have to look for a link for my video to send it to someone when I'm answering a message or something, and instead of going to my channel, I'll just Google CuteWitch772 YouTube, or I'll look up the exact title of the video, because I know a lot of my videos' titles. And sometimes when I do that, I find other websites that have tried to repost my videos or embed my videos as though they were coming directly from that website, and that's part of why I have embedding turned off on my videos. But none of those videos are trying to pass it off as, it's my actual video, it's these files. But I also found, when I did this a while ago, I was looking for some video, I don't even remember what it is right now, I found a couple of videos that some other YouTubers did that were copying what I did. And one of them was with acknowledgement, like saying, this is inspired by Cute, which I love this video, and da-da-da-da, and they were acting out exactly what I had done in a video. Actually, I think it was my Shit People Say video, and this person was just basically doing what I did and being an actor and saying the lines that I wrote and saying them in similar ways and sometimes saying them in different ways, and I thought that was so funny, and I'm glad that they had said that it was based on me, because that's how I was able to find it, because it was tagged with my username, and I shared that on my Facebook page. At the same time, however, I found a video that another user did that was, again, inspired by the Shit People Say to Pagans thing, and was, to me, upon watching it, very clearly inspired by mine, because they did a lot of the same exact lines, said them the same exact way, everything like that, but then they did throw in some of their own in between, so they did kind of make it their own, but many of the things that they said were clearly taken from my video, and the problem with it was that nowhere on their video, within their video, in the description, nowhere did they ever say that it was taken from mine, nor did they link to my original, anything like that. So at that point, it's copying without giving credit. It's trying to make what I created your own, like, you know, passing it off as your own. And that's the problem with it. So that's why theater performance and theater design copyright is so important to me, although the producer does bring up a good point that people sign off agreements, and so they say, like, pictures are going to be released, especially from rehearsals and things like that, so the set design is going to be shown to people and things like that. And of course, reporters take pictures, there's publicity photos, like, it gets out there, but I try not to be that person who's just recording things and then putting them online for the entire world to see, especially since I also, again, like to keep a little bit of my privacy. But I do like to show you some things when I can, as I said before, so there's a little bit of what I did tonight. Now I am just sitting in here with my cat, and I'm going to edit this video and upload it, and I got home a little bit earlier tonight since we were only writing lighting cues, and that didn't take as long as a regular rehearsal. I got home a little early, so I have time to maybe do a little bit of stuff online. There's a lot of things that I need to get done that I just haven't had time for, because I go from work to rehearsal, work to rehearsal. Tomorrow I have plans with a friend, tomorrow night after work, and then Sunday, I don't even have my usual free day on Sunday because I have church and then have to go immediately to tech for the show, and that'll be like, it could be a 10-hour thing. You just never know. And then when I do get my free daytime hours on Monday, I might be so tired that I just sleep through most of them, so who knows. This has been kind of a boring vlog every day in April so far. I do have some specific events coming up later in April that'll be more interesting to show you pieces of or talk about. Like, I am teaching an acting class later this month. You'll find out more about that when the day arrives. But it's pretty cool. I did it last year and I'm doing it again, so I'll talk to you about that. Obviously, the show's happening later this month. I can't speak. And the Earth Day service for my church, so I'll talk to you a bit more about my homily and how that turns out and how the service went. I'm looking over at my calendar to see what else is going on this month. I don't know, but anyway, there will be some slightly more eventful days. I hope you're enjoying it so far. This has been a really long video, so there you go for those of you who like the long videos, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.